Good afternoon, happy Wednesday to all of your sunshiny faces. Guys, I am excited for tomorrow. Tomorrow we have got football, and then we've got football Friday as well. So I've got like football all weekend starting tomorrow. So it's like the week's not even over yet and there's already football starting. Because the freshmen play tomorrow and we're gonna go see it. Jack actually really wants to go because he invited like a bunch of his friends to go. Which it's like the freshman games, normally there's really like not that many people that go, like a handful, and like it's mainly parents more than anything, I think. And the varsity game is like, everybody goes and hangs out at the varsity game and stuff like that, and it's just like the thing to do on Friday nights. But Thursdays, the freshmen, normally they play like right after school too. Like the game starts tomorrow at 4:30, so it's actually like kind of early-ish. My dad said though that they had like a really good week of practice this week, which they only practiced 3 days, guys, because they have like Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday's the game. So freshmen like have a really short week as far as practice goes. And then I think they do film sometimes on Friday before the varsity game, which I honestly always thought maybe that was the same with Matthew too, but I thought Matthew used to practice on Fridays. Like sometimes they do film, but sometimes they would actually have like a full practice on Friday. Not like quite as intense, obviously, because they just played a game on Thursday or whatever, but they had a couple games on Saturday, I know. The Friday practices, like if they had a Thursday game, sometimes they would, I think they did. I don't really remember, but I don't really remember Matthew ever talking about doing film when he was a freshman. Like I remember him talking more about it like his sophomore, junior year, and obviously his senior year too, but I don't really even know that they did film or if it was that big of a thing freshman years. I always thought before the games that they actually would like have a practice like on Friday nights, and then Matthew would always wind up meeting us at the game then afterwards, at the varsity game on Friday, because that was when Jack played his first year of football and we tried to encourage the kids to come out to the football game, which like our youth football kids to come out to the football game and watch and stuff like that. We used to do incentives to get the kids to come to the Friday night games, like with the youth kids that we'd coach, and we'd give them like, out of running something or having to do some of the conditioning or something like that. And I mainly did it the last 2 years, but I thought it was a really good incentive to get them to, like I said, come out to the game and they support their high school, because we were really trying to push for it to be like a like community kind of football team, because for 90% of those kids they wind up going to that high school anyway, and that's where they're going to play football. So like there might be a couple kids that either go to the private school, or honestly I think there was only one kid that ended up going to the private school. There was one other kid that was supposed to and actually ended up coming to this high school instead. And they like all of his other siblings I think actually went to a different school. I don't even know that it was a private school. I think it was actually like a Catholic school or something like that, which was kind of weird because I thought that they all went to public school. It was a Catholic school, or like if it was a religious school or something like that. The private school that is in our area is, but they were going to go to a different one and I don't remember. Like I said, he had like 3 older siblings. They all went to different schools, and now he is like the 4th one and went to a different school too because he went to the public school. But like I was saying, we try and get the kids to like come out and stuff like that. And honestly guys too, I'd have probably close to like 75% of our team would wind up coming out to the football games on Friday nights, and then they get out of like doing one conditioning lap or something like that, or whatever. One set of conditioning was normally what we do. But yeah, so but the freshman games normally aren't that packed or anything like that, and Jack's like, I want to try and get some of, because a lot of the kids are kids that he's played with football for, the last few years and stuff like that. His one really good friend he's played with for all 4 years. They even went to the same elementary school together. Like they're really good friends. They live like only a few blocks away from us. And then on top of that too, there's a couple other kids, that he's just been really good friends with that he's played football with, but they're all a year older than him, because ever since he was in 80s, or like his first year of tackle football, he played up every other year. So for 3 years, 3 of the 4 years that he played up a level. And so the one kid that played with us, though, he's actually was a year older than Jack his first year, but where his birthday fell, he was still actually able to play with us. So it's kind of weird, guys. Now it's not quite as weird, but it used to be so weird. Like, you have to weigh this much weight, and if you weighed more, then you have to play up. But if your birthday fell on this time, you could still technically play down. It was so, the rules were so bizarre. So they didn't have a team, though, so that's how he was actually able to play with us, and because of where his birthday fell. So like I said, there's so many like little stipulations to the rules and stuff like that, how a kid like could play like in the league that we played in. But now they're kind of doing it more as just like if you're in 5th grade, you play 5th grade football, instead of it being like, well, your birthday has to fall on this time and stuff like that. It's really weird. So yeah, that's how Jack's one friend is a year older than him, but he did play all 4 years with him, even though Jack played 1 year at the year he was supposed to. And so the last 3 years, though, like I said, he played up. So a lot of his friends, you know, he's played with those kids for a few years and stuff like that, and has become good friends with them. And so he wants to like get some of his other friends to come out to the freshman game and support them and stuff like that, because he really likes going to those. And I think he's honestly kind of missing football a little bit. He's been doing off-season workouts, guys. He's been, well, honestly, though, ever since like pretty much the beginning of spring, I'd say, Jack has been like doing little jogs and stuff like that. He'll just jog around the block and stuff like that, but he's trying to like you know, I think just keep his conditioning and stuff like that up a little bit. And so he'll do that, and I think he just likes to run and listen to music too. Like, he really likes to do that. Always have his earbuds in and stuff. But yeah, he just, I think he misses football a little bit, and that's why he's like, can we go to the freshman game? He even asked if we could go to a practice, because practices are technically open. You can go and like sit at the practices in the bleachers and stuff like that. One of the kids' dads, we know he goes to the practices and goes and watches them and stuff like that. And so I know a lot of like, it's just open, like you could walk the track, unless they have like cross countries practicing or something, or track. No, track is in the later, but cross countries practice. No, maybe they have boys track. But I think that cross country's practicing right now, I know. Because they run past our house. Like, the high school's a few blocks away from us, and they actually do run in our area. So I know that's cross country, not track. And it's always in the fall. There's a couple that used to live next to the high school who went to the church that I was going to youth group at, and she would say that she'd bring her dog like there, and she'd always like walk the track and stuff like that with her dog, or the outside of the track too, because there's the track on the interior, and then there's the outside, which is like just like not a track. But she'd go there, and like, or like people just go and walk the bleachers, like stuff like that, just to like get exercise and stuff. And so it's open like for anybody really to, I guess, to use during those hours. But Jack was really wanting to go to one of the practices and just sit and watch practice. But my dad said, like I said, they had 2 really good practices this week. Today they had a walkthrough, and he said it wasn't really good. So he said walkthroughs are normally really slow, which I can attest to, because when we had walkthroughs, they were always just really chaotic. The kids didn't normally pay attention. You wind up having kids that, like, you know, because unless you're like running the play or something like that, especially for the linemen, it's like, what are we supposed to do? You know, they're like, okay, we're supposed to be blocking this direction, but it's just like a walkthrough. They just walk the plays, or they walk, you know, a defense or something like that. You know, if a kid's coming in this area, what are you supposed to do, or whatever. And that's what we used to do too with our walkthroughs. My dad said they're just very boring, and the kids get kind of just like stir crazy. They just don't like to be there. Like, I understand that walkthroughs are kind of important, but at the same time too, if you're losing the kids and they're not paying attention, I don't necessarily see how that's like the best. But it was raining today too, so that might have been another reason why it wasn't maybe such a successful practice. But my dad said that 2 of the 3 days, which today they didn't do conditioning, but my dad said that Monday and Tuesday they did conditioning, and all the kids looked and felt really good. Like, my dad said, like, mentally they just looked more focused and stuff like that. And I said, that is what I've been trying to get across. Like, conditioning and exercising and stuff like that is not only good just for like your the physical aspect of it, but it's also good for the mental aspect. Like my dad was saying, one of our kids last year who was playing, he would be so focused, like during conditioning and stuff like that, he'd push himself and all this kind of stuff, and he was such a good football player. This year my dad said he'd like miss passes. He'd wind up missing like dropped punts or kicks and stuff like that, and you know, just like a lot of stuff. And he said just mentally, like, he just didn't seem focused, or you know, maybe, you know, is this a lot with school or something like that. He's like, but he just didn't seem like the same kid that we've seen in the past years and stuff like that, specifically last year when we coached him. And I was like, it doesn't sound like him. And you know, even going to the football games and seeing him, I kind of agreed as well. And so my dad said he just looked amazing these last 2 days, or 3 days I guess, and they had conditioning. And I said, you know, it's a huge mental aspect of conditioning and exercise and stuff like that. Again, not just for the physical side of it, but for the mental side of it too. Is like, exercising is important for your mental well-being. Like, I think it helps to organize people and get them focused and stuff like that. Not maybe necessarily in the sense of like, you know, you're an organized person, but like organize your brain almost and stuff like that. And like you just feel better. You have like the runner's high, you know, your endorphins and stuff like that, and you know, just the good exercise vibes and stuff. And like it's really is important. And so you know, like I was telling my dad, I was like, really need to try and get these kids like to do it, even if they stay after practice, and just make it, you know, a like non-mandatory, just like a whoever wants to do it. But my dad said that the last couple days he got all the other coaches on board, they've been doing it, and so I've been sending him like the conditioning stuff that we did last year, and the stuff that I came up with, and the drills and things like that, and stuff that they can do this year. And so that's what they did the last 2 days, was all stuff that I came up with, guys. So yeah, they ended up doing that. My dad said that they've been like really focused this week, and so the team that they're playing, they also haven't won a game yet, so we're hoping maybe we can get one. And then if they do, then we can say it was all conditioning. I think that's my argument as to why they need conditioning. But no, I mean, they were right there like last week, I felt like. But again, it was just kind of that, I feel like it's that mental fog, like with some of the kids, they just didn't necessarily seem like that. My dad said ever since they've been doing the conditioning now this week, that they've just been more mentally focused. And so I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, guys, they can get one tomorrow. I'm excited. Jack's got his little friends and stuff like that are coming, but unless my mom goes, I'll probably wind up sitting by myself then if Jack's friends are there. So but I guess I don't mind. I can just be, I'm actually not that loud of a fan, like now that none of my brothers are playing in it. Like when Matthew and Jack played, or I coached and stuff like that, I was very loud. But like at the high school games and stuff like that, like I'm not that loud. I'll cheer like when they do something good, but like a lot of times I wind up yelling stuff out on the field and stuff like that while I'm sitting in the bleachers with the rest of the fans. But no, now that I'm by myself, I'm in, like, I don't know anybody that's really playing. Like I'll yell for a kid if he did something amazing, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll cheer. But I don't normally, like, I can't yell correctional things, or, you know, be like, come on, let's go, you know, or something like that, or like, come on, we have to make that tackle. You know, like I would yell that at a football game, like with Matthew and stuff like that, or in Jack's. I mean, at Jack's I was normally on the sidelines, but I just don't feel like my same like football self when I'm at the games, and especially too when I have nobody else sitting around me to like back me up with my cheers and stuff like that. I'm very quiet, which is, like I said, really out of the ordinary, because I've never been like that. But it's weird for me to be like yelling and stuff like that when I don't necessarily have any relatives that are playing or anything like that. So anyways though, I'll see you guys all in tomorrow's vlog. If you guys did enjoy today's, make sure you guys give it a big old thumbs up. If you guys are new, we'd love if you'd subscribe, and I'll see all of your sunshiny faces tomorrow. So bye guys.